Do you need to be constantly in that positive state, in that high vibrational state a lot of people talk about, to manifest your desires? Do you need to constantly think about that positive end? Do you need to constantly visualize and constantly reaffirm to yourself, or constantly script about the end that you desire? So I will answer all these questions in this video. My name is Rohit and I've been studying about law of attraction manifestation for years now. And my goal with this channel is to simplify manifesting so people can manifest their dream job, the dream partner, that best career, health, money, whatever they desire, with the power of their imagination. So this is a concept which is, so I've gone through a lot of different teachers. I've studied a lot of different teachers and I love to read. But a big problem about reading is also becomes this. When you start to read a lot, you will read a lot of conflicting information. And then you might think, one person is telling me to be constantly in this positive state and the person is telling me to let go. What do I do? Okay, if you have read enough, you would have actually seen a lot of conflicting information, and that will actually confuse you more. And this is what happens when people get confused a lot more, and then you get stuck. So one of my mentors always used to say that complexity is the enemy of execution. If you make things something which is very complicated, people won't be able to execute. Most people will not be able to really handle that complexity. First, you have to make it very simple. Once you have mastered the simplicity of these things, then you can add complexity to that. But if you try to explain someone and give them something to someone which is very complex, they will have a very hard time understanding this concept. So for example, I try to do this. There are other law of attraction teachers, and you might go and read their books. You will find those books, and they are like, oh, so whenever you are in a traffic, you should visualize. This is an activity I actually did for a longest time. So it comes from Esther Hicks' books, and she talks about this activity where if you're driving, or let's say you have taken an Uber or you're in a cab or a train, and you're driving past a shopping mall, you're driving past a shop, you see a shop, or you see a shopping mall, whatever, you imagine buying something in your mind's eye. So let's say you're driving past a automobile shop or a car reseller shop. You imagine handing over the money and getting that car. So you're imaginarily spending the money. Okay, even if you don't have it, doesn't matter. So you're on this vehicle, you're on this car, you're on this train or whatever, and you're driving past it, right? And you're driving past these locations, and in your mind's eye, you're always like, okay, this card is mine. You're giving the money, or you're giving a credit card, you're giving your card, and that person is handing you the keys or the object, whatever you desire. Okay? And this way, it will train you to be abundant. I did that for the longest time. And the thing is, the small things manifested very quickly. Let's say I imagined buying a t-shirt, okay? Or I imagined buying a pair of jeans, or I imagined getting a nice watch or whatever. Those things I was able to manifest very fast. But if I imagined giving in cash or giving in my credit card and getting a car, that eluded me for the longest time. And I was like, okay, maybe this manifesting thing works for small things. For example, this is what happened. I visualized giving the money and getting a t-shirt. And what happened is, one of my neighbors, he was leaving. He used to live in this apartment, and he was leaving. He was going back to his home country. And he said, oh brother, actually I bought a lot of stuff, and I bought some new t-shirts and new clothes. The thing is, I won't be able to carry all this thing, and then I have to pay for extra luggage. And honestly, I'm like, do you want it? You keep it. I'm like, sure, let me have a look. I'm not sure if it's gonna fit me. And there was a t-shirt which actually kind of fit me. And I was like, okay, cool, I'll keep it. And that's how I got my t-shirt. Pretty brand new, almost as new, maybe been washed a couple of times. But I got that desire. But at the same time, doing this exercise, I was constantly trying to stay in the positive, and it was very draining and very exhausting. So instead of looking forward to the drive to work, or I'm going from work to home, I kind of dreaded it. I started to dread this exercise. Okay, now I have to do this imaginal exercise where I exchange money. Whenever I look at every shop, I have to do it. I kind of started dreading it, and I didn't want to do it anymore. And then I still kept doing it. And there were no clear end line or deadline when I should stop or when I shouldn't stop. So I just kept doing it. Going forward, keep doing it. And I'm like, I'm doing all these things. Okay, I'm going forward. I'm not really getting the kind of desire I truly want. I'm manifesting small things left, right, and center. For example, if I imagine going to a shop and they're giving me a book, people will give me a book for free. And stuff like that will happen, or I'll win a free book, or somebody will parcel me a book on my birthday or something. And then I would be like, okay, why am I struggling with big manifestations, right? So I try to stay in this high vibration state. Very exhausting to stay in that, because we have emotions, we are human beings. Let's say you get into an accident, or let's say you see an accident, that will really shake you for a few hours. It is going to shake you. At least for people, it might shake them up for a week or maybe a month before they can forget about that accident, or that will become a thing of the past. And then you try to stay in the high vibration, or you try to stay more positive, and it was so hard, and it is so mentally exhausting. And I was like, there has to be a better way. I can't do this. It is so exhausting if I have to constantly stay in this positive state. And it is very, very difficult. Okay. And then what happened is I decided, okay, I give up. I'm not gonna do that anymore. Okay. I just said no. Okay, this is too much. It's getting too exhausting. It's mentally very draining. Instead, the kind of mental drain it has on my brain, instead I would actually work that extra hour, make that extra money, so I can actually go and buy the thing, right? Sometimes you think, oh, if I just visualize a t-shirt which is like $15 and I'm spending an hour visualizing, why I don't just work an extra $15 and make that money and go and buy it directly? Yeah, so you have to also think in terms of time you're spending and the results you're getting. And eventually, after doing all these techniques, going to different teachers, I eventually stumbled upon Neville, and Neville talked about imagining it in his mind's eye. And he didn't say that you have to do it every day. He just told us to do it at one time before we go to bed. That's it. He didn't say we have to do it the whole day. He didn't say we have to stay in this positive, high vibration state. He didn't say we have to constantly imagine. He said, before you go to bed, just imagine, just one time a day. And maybe in later of his books, he said, if you can do it maybe once during the day or during the evening. Or you can have that imaginary conversation once in the morning or once in the evening or once in the afternoon, maybe a couple of times a day. You don't have to constantly stay in this state of, oh, I already have it, or like my desire is here. And I did that for a while. And then what ended up happening is I visualized, getting something big. For example, let's say you visualize something which you feel is very unlikely to happen. Let's say you visualize getting a car, okay? And you don't think somebody will give you a car, okay? And this is a true story. I've seen many other people get car like that in many ways. So, like getting a car or getting a nice car. I told this to one of my mentors, right? One of my coaches. At that time I had a coach, and I told him about this, and I said, if you want a nicer car, you visualize having that car. It doesn't matter if you have the money or not, it will come to you. He said, I don't know, mate, but I will try. I'm like, sure, go ahead and give it a try and do that. So he visualized having a nicer car. He had a car which is like $50,000. You imagine having a car just $150,000, like really expensive fancy car. And he visualized it and he did that. And then he did it for a while, and then he's like, I don't know, mate, it's not working. I haven't got the car and whatever. I'm like, keep doing it. He did it, and then he kind of let go. He forgot about it and he stopped thinking about it. And then what happened? One of his neighbors had to urgently move to another place, another state or something. I think he got a new job or something, and he didn't want to take his car with him. And he just really wanted to sell it off quickly because he needed some extra cash. And that car was super expensive. That car was over $100,000, I think. And so he was asking my coach at that time, do you know anyone who would be willing to buy this car? It's like $100,000. Okay, I'm willing to give. If somebody even is okay to buy with $70,000, I'll be able to buy. And he said, man, I don't know. He asked a bunch of people, and then he realized, is he actually going to give him the car? Maybe this is what Rohit was talking about. Maybe this is how manifesting is unfolding. And then he said, actually, I don't have that much money. I have about $60,000 and I also have my car. So I won't be able to pay that much. Maybe I will be able to pay you less, maybe around 50,000. And he's like, oh man, that's too less. I won't be able to give you that money about it. And then one day at 7 p.m. in night, like few days before he was leaving, he messages him and he says to my coach, mate, whatever you can give it to me. I just need the cash urgently. I'll give you the car. And my coach got that car for super low price. And he couldn't believe that he got that car for such a low price. He got the car for like almost 1/4 of the market price. It was just amazing. And he said, and then he told me about this, and I'm like, didn't I tell you about this? Didn't I tell you that you must do the visualization? And he's like, yeah, maybe that's the way the manifesting came out. But he said, I didn't get the car for free. I didn't get it for free. I still had to pay some money. I'm like, okay, sure, but I think that's one of the assumptions you had. If you truly believed that you don't have to spend a single dollar to get a car, you would have received it for free. But even then, he said, it's an absolute fantastic deal I got. I would have never gotten this car for such a low price. And that car is in a brand new condition and it looks absolutely brand new. So he was just blown away. And he's like, okay, this car looks absolutely brand new. It's amazing. And I'm so grateful that I got it. And then I realized this thing is he didn't stay constantly in that state. He didn't constantly imagine about that car. He only did it one time before going to bed. And maybe he did it for a couple of weeks. And then he realized, he said, man, this manifesting thing doesn't work. Or he kind of like drifted off that practice. And he stopped doing it for a while. And I asked him, just tell me honestly, because, you know, I'm really studying this stuff. Like, did you do it all the way to the day you got the car? He said, actually, mate, I kind of stopped doing it a month before I got the car. So he maybe did it for 2-3 weeks, maybe maximum for a month. And then he didn't do it for a month. And then the manifestation unfolded and he got his car. So did he had to stay in the constantly high vibrational state? No. Did he have to constantly visualize it? Constantly, you know, do that money exchange exercise? Did he have to constantly imagine being in that car? No. He just did it one time at evening before going to bed. He did it for a few weeks and then he didn't even do it. And then the manifestation unfolded on itself. So the seed got implanted on his subconscious mind and a bridge of incidents happened which unfolded and that got him the car in the end. So this is how basically manifesting works. And then I realized I don't have to choose this very hard way of constantly staying in this positive state. I don't have to choose this very hard way of doing this exercise where I'm traveling on a car and I'm constantly visualizing, oh, I have the money, or I'm exchanging money, and I don't have to exhaust myself with doing these manifesting exercises when there is a very simple way of doing these things. And I have made a video about this where I explain the Neville Goddard technique in under 10 minutes, explains everything what you need to know. I'll also post a link in the description below, or you can just go to my homepage and you will find that video there. So that's all I wanted to share. I hope you got this value out of it, and I have gone through the pain of struggling with other manifesting techniques, and I understand the pain, and I understand sometimes they don't work. Sometimes they do work, not to say that they don't work, but they're not as consistent or as reliable as Neville Goddard's techniques. And just by plain old visualization done once or twice a day, and then once you feel like it has impressed, then you just drop it, just let it go, and then things will come to you. So if you really found this video useful, give it a like and hit that notification bell so you get notified when I make more content like this. And I will see you in the next video. Until then, I wish you great success with your manifesting journey.